All right, welcome back. So this is part two of Salesforce Trailhead Trail Mix Administrator course. This is where we are going to go right into the material itself. So where we left off on the last video was that when we come back, we were going to start with the admin beginner course. So again, if you didn't watch the first one, basically what we're going to do is it's going to land you on the home screen right here. We are going into learn trail mixes, and we should have build your admin career in Salesforce. If you cannot find that, you can always go into career path and look for administrator and go skill up, start scaling up, and it should land you right here. And if you scroll down, we're at admin beginner. So we are going to go ahead and go right into admin beginner. This is the first actual course that we are going to be taking. This module has, this particular module has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exercises or units. And we are going to, it's about Salesforce Platform Basics. It gets you introduced to the platform, navigate use cases, and build custom functionality. The first unit we are going to do is get started with Salesforce Platform. So we want to go ahead and go in there, and this is where it's going to take us. And you'll notice on the upper right, it says 0 badges and 0 points. Going through these units will get you, earn you points and eventually badges and whatnot. And employers sometimes like to see like 100 badges, or 100 badges kind of lets them know that you've actually been going through. And if you do get through and get the badges, you're it's there's a good chance you actually know a few things. So let's go ahead and get started. And you'll notice almost at the end of every unit, there's either a lab exercise or a quiz. And so this particular one will have a lab exercise right here. And some of them will have quizzes. And I'm not saying that I'm going to get every quiz questions right. It's been a while since I've gone through this, so let's go ahead and go start with the learning objectives. To learn the learning objectives here is to define the Salesforce platform and describe the Dreamhouse scenario, and create Trailhead Playground and explain the difference between declarative and programmatic development. So Playground, when we talk about Trailhead Playground, we're talking about, I can go into my icon here, or my whatever that may be. There's thing called hands-on org on the upper right. If we click on that, this is a playground, basically a sandbox where you can mess things up. If you need to, you can create a new playground and it'll rename it or name it for you automatically, and not every one will be same. But yeah, you can create one, and you can create multiples if you need to. Okay, so again, we are going to go back and get started with this. That is the playground. You could also roll towards or scroll down to the bottom, and you'll notice if some of these have exercises, like this one will have an exercise, you can click on launch and it'll launch the playground that's on here. Or you can also click on it and you have same option as I did, either create a playground or you could click on the playground that you want to use. After a while, you will have enough playgrounds, and you don't want to create a playground for every new exercise. So that is your organization, short for organization. So ideally, a company would be using an org to keep all their data and all of that information within one org. Okay, and simply Salesforce platform, meaning just platform like your whatever it may be. Like we have Windows, we have iOS, those are the platforms, or Android, whatever it may be. Salesforce itself is a platform that runs CRM, which is a customer relationship management software. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So you might think that Salesforce is just a CRM. Well, that was the case a long time ago. It's no longer the case. They're actually a lot bigger than CRM. I personally think that Salesforce is transitioning a little bit into ERP system as well, but that's just my personal opinion. It does store your customer data and gives you process to nurture prospective customers and provide ways to collaborate with people that you work with. And it does all of these things, but saying that Salesforce is just a CRM is like saying house is just a kitchen. There's a lot more to it than that. So Salesforce comes with a lot of standard functionality, meaning out of the box products and features that you can use to run your business. Here are some of the common things that business want to do with Salesforce and features that you give or we give you that supports those activities. So these right here, the list is pretty much the things that come with it, standard. But of course, you can customize Salesforce for later use to better fit your own company. So let's say you need to sell to prospects and customers, then Salesforce will give you leads and opportunities to manage sales. Not meaning they're going to provide leads and opportunities, but they're going to provide a way for you to keep the leads, information on leads and opportunities, so that you don't have to have it on an Excel file. Or remember the old days where salespeople actually had their own, I want to say notepad, so they could write on it, all of that. This is basically in the cloud where information is shared among necessary people that need the information, and kept away from the people that do not need the information, right? Also, let's say you need to help customers after the sale. Well, there are cases and communities for customer engagement. There's that feature. And then they have feature customizable Salesforce mobile app. Just in case you're on the go, you have to be. A lot of salespeople are out and about. So instead of having to log into their laptops or computers, they can see it on their mobile app because Salesforce provides mobile app. And there's way to customize that as well as an admin. And that is an admin function that you would have to do. There's also chatter and communities to connect your company so you can collaborate with coworkers, partners, and customers. And then if you need to market your audience, there's Marketing Cloud to manage your customer journey. So that's pretty simple. Basically, if you need to do this, Salesforce offer you these. And depending on what your company purchases, you can get these features. So not all features are standard package. There are some features at higher level that you do have to purchase for extra. And more without lifting a finger, but you can almost think of these features as model houses that a real estate agent shows off. You could certainly live there, but it wouldn't be your home. It wouldn't have your art on the wall or that unusual coat rag your Aunt Tilda gave you as a housewarming gift. That's where the Salesforce platform comes in. With that platform, you can customize and build whatever that your company needs. And then when you have a business application that's unique to you, everyone is more successful. Okay, so there's going to be some companies that are going to be introduced. There's a company called CloudKicks, Ursa Major Solar, Get Cloudy Consulting, and Dreamhouse Realty. And going through these, I'll remember that I got mixed up between CloudKicks and Get Cloudy Consulting. So even though, they're both cloudy, they are different companies. So one is a consulting firm, one is a sneaker maker. So that's what's happening there. Just know that we will be seeing these four companies a lot throughout these exercises. So Ursa Major Solar, their solar company there's a consulting company, shoemaker, and there's a real estate company, and they do need different type of customization because they're different type of businesses. So we're digging this house theme. So let's kick off our first module with Dreamhouse Realty, because that is the real estate company, right? So we'll use Dreamhouse Salesforce implementation to explain some of the fundamental terms, concepts, and capabilities of Salesforce Platform. So we're going to learn more about it. Michelle is the lead real estate broker at Dreamhouse. She finds many potential home buyers through Dreamhouse's web and mobile app. And with the app, customers can browse available homes and make favorite list of properties that they're interested in. They can also reach out to Michelle and other brokers directly to set up showings. D'Angelo, so this is Michelle, that's D'Angelo. He's the Salesforce admin there, and he'll be helping Michelle with a lot of the things and implementing a lot of the functionalities that she will need. Okay, so Salesforce, remember, it comes in standard functionality for tracking common sales object. When we talk about object, we'll talk about objects later, but things like accounts, contacts, and leads, we're talking about like information containers. So I wouldn't keep, let's say accounts, meaning like a customer account information, as same as contact people information or potential customer information. I would keep them in separate containers, right? You wouldn't write all of them on same list or same notebook. So that's how Salesforce has it set up, where different type of information is kept in different containers, and those containers are often referred to as objects. And you run into a lot of objects. Yes, and there's more than 3 objects. There are custom objects that you can make. You can call it, I don't know, whatever, pickle jar or whatever, if that's what, you're keeping all the information about pickles in there. Yeah, maybe you could call it pickle jar or whatever it may be. So you can customize your own object. But Dreamhouse Realty is a realty firm, so it has needs specific to its industry and business model. Throughout this module, we work with D'Angelo to see how Salesforce Platform can meet those needs. So, get to know our terms. Object is one of the many important terms that you learn as you get to know the Salesforce. It's important to understand database in the context of Salesforce. So when we talk about database, think of giant spreadsheet like Excel, right? So when you put information to Salesforce, it gets stored in database so you can access it again later. That's the thing about these, like CRMs, ERPs, all of these. They keep information for you. Like long time ago, or even some companies now, they keep their information on Excel spreadsheet, right? So it's just basically a information holder, but you don't really get to use it to its fullest. Just like Google Spreadsheet, a lot of companies that are using Google Spreadsheet are now migrating into Salesforce, and we have to do a lot of data cleaning up and to get it moved into Salesforce, because you want to be able to do a lot of things with the Salesforce and you want to be on the cloud with it, right? So when you put information into Salesforce, it gets stored in the database so you can access it again later. It's stored in a very specific way, so you're always accessing the information that you need. So we're going to take a look at the page from Dreamhouse app to define some of the important elements and how they relate to the database. So if we look at number 1, 2, 3, 4 here, it's going to say in app in Salesforce is a set of objects. So this right here, the dice looking thing, is what we call app launcher. And if you look at it, you see home tab, property, brokers, contacts, and more. These are what we call objects. Okay. Objects are tables in Salesforce database that store a particular kind of information. They're standard objects like accounts and contacts, and custom objects like property objects you see in the graphic. So when we look at properties, brokers, these are custom objects because this is very unique to the real estate industry, right? So you will not see anything like that with standard object, but you could definitely see standard object like contacts, which is like people information. You will see another standard object may be accounts for your customer account objects. Those are standard objects. But if you see anything industry specific, most likely they are custom objects that admin created. And we'll have exercise that we go through later down the road where you can create standard objects or custom objects. Okay. Now, when we look at number 3, these are information, right? So if we look at Excel spreadsheet, we could look at it more like records would be horizontal row. So let's say we have contact. That's the object, right? We're going to have a whole bunch of contacts. And one row is going to contain Jimmy Smith, first name, last name, phone number, address, age, social, whatever information. The entire row is a record of a person or a contact. And then fields are columns in the object data field database tables. Both standard and custom objects have fields. On our property object, we have fields like address and price. Again, so we have a record, let's say Jimmy Smith. Jimmy would be what? First name, right? Smith would be last name. And 512-0000000 may be phone number. So first name, that column itself, that is called a field. Last name, that is also called a field. And address will be field. So each information within a record is a field. So another important term that's hard to capture in the picture is org. Org is a short for organization and it refers to a specific instance of Salesforce. The image here is taken from Dreamhouse org. Your company can have one or multiple org. There's a lot of new stuff to tackle. If you don't get it all right away, don't worry. You always continue to learn about Salesforce. The terminology will start to come naturally. And that is so true because initially, some of the students that I taught, they had no idea what database is, what org is. But eventually it all makes sense because you can't catch everything at one sitting, but eventual, like over and over, when you hear it over and over, it's going to come to you. So yeah, org, just picture it, think of it as organization. And when they said your company can have one or multiple orgs, so yes, that is very true, but it really depends on how your company is set up. So if I have a mom and pop shop, most likely I'm going to be under one org. But let's say you were like Disney, right? Disney owns ESPN, ABC, they own Disney Plus, they own these separate companies. They each have org under Disney or Inc. because you cannot keep taxes you can't combine taxes from ESPN to ABC and whatnot. They're separate entities, but they all belong to under a major umbrella under Disney Inc. And that's one of the cases where you would have multiple orgs. So your first Trailhead Playground. Now we've talked enough information. We're going to talk about the Trailhead Playground. So Trailhead Playground, it's a safe environment where you can practice the skill you're learning before you take them to real work. So often we call this like a developer edition or sandbox system where you can mess it up and still, maybe if you mess it up too bad, we can just create a new org. Now think about doing that in real world and real work environment. you could potentially cost your company millions and billions of dollars. So that is why you want to always work with the Playground first or sandbox system until you before you launch into a production system. So again, we explained about what Trailhead Playground was. That's an org that I showed you earlier. Okay, so now what we're going to do is launch your Trailhead Playground by scrolling to the bottom of this page and click Launch. If you see a tab in your org labeled Install a Package, great. Follow these steps. If not, from App Launcher, find Playground Starter. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and launch a Playground. So we're going to scroll down, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and click Launch here. And it should bring it up on a new tab, and it will have some sort of random name, like this one is Cunning Panda, and that's your pretty much the address. We're gonna go ahead and allow, and take this page anywhere. Salesforce is a mobile app, where your Salesforce mobile app, click Go Mobile to get App Today. We're just gonna go ahead and X out for now. And it does run you through some of these. New way to learn. Check out in-app learning. And welcome to Salesforce. This is first time ever logging into a brand new org. This is why you're going to get that. Every time you create an org, you're going to get this. So let's go back to our initial instructions. So when we come here, it says launch your Trailhead Playground by scrolling to the bottom. We did that. If you see a tab in your org, install or label Install a Package, great. Follow these steps below. Did we see it? Install a Package? There it is, right? So we are going to go ahead and click the Install Package tab, and we're going to paste this. Copy and paste. And we're going to go ahead, copy and paste here, and we'll do install. And another tab pops up, installing. And if we go click on install, select install for all users, then click install. So we're going to go ahead and install for all users, and we'll do install. So we go through some of the pieces of this app through the module, but feel free to take a look around before you move on. So customize the Salesforce platform. Now we're going into customizing. So we already know that you can use Salesforce Platform to develop custom objects and functionality specific to your business. What you might not know is that you can do most of this development without ever writing a line of code. This is where we come through declarative development and programmatic development. Declarative is developing without code, where you pretty much drag and drop, and programmatic development is where you write the codes itself, right? So we're going to start small. Michelle wants to quickly indicate whether a potential home buyer is pre-qualified for a home loan. To make this change, D'Angelo, which is the admin, right, wants to create pre-qualification checkbox on a contact object. Which object? Contact, right? It's that tab contact. So in Salesforce speak, we're adding a custom field to a standard object. Let's see how it works. So we're talking about standard object, which was contact, which we can see installation is complete. I just moved over. I'm just going to click done. And it should bring up this. This is our org. Okay. So if we go to, if you see that little gear looking thing, we'll go to setup. That's what we're in the back end of it, admin side. But anything you click in here in the dice looking thing, this is the front end side of it. Like salespeople. If I'm a salesperson, I would be in here. I would not have rights to get into the setup. I would only be seeing these. So click on App Launcher, we're in the front end. Click on the gear, we're on the admin side. So, and you'll notice it says setup here. If I click on the dice, I'll pick sales. It'll say sales. That's how you can tell whether you're in the front end or the back end. Okay, so this one, obviously, because it's D'Angelo, he's the admin, he's going to add a custom field, which means, remember the field that we were talking about, whether you had first name, last name, phone number, those are pretty standard fields. But let's say, like here, what does Michelle want? She wants to know if they're pre-qualified for home loan, right? That's industry specific and probably requires a custom field. So we're going to have to create something new for that. And for us to do that, we cannot do that from the front end. Somebody with admin rights like D'Angelo has to go into setup mode. Okay, so we're in here. We're going to go ahead and go into setup mode. Okay, and look at this quick find box. That is your biggest friend. Okay, you're going to be using that so much. So we're going to go into, from the gear icon, go into setup and launch the setup page. We use setup a lot, so remember this step. Click the object manager tab. So if we go to here, you see object manager tab. We're going to click on that and let's see what it wants. So, and once we click on the object manager, we're going to click on contact. Oops, let me kill some of these. Okay, so I'm here. I'm going to click on Object Manager, which shows up all the objects that I have, which means they're basically tabs or something that contains information. This time they wanted to do it on contact, so I'm going to scroll down and look for contact. And this is where I can edit information or edit stuff within the contact object. So what object am I in? I'm in contact object. Right, so under field and relationship, click new. So we are going to go into field and relationship, and you have a whole bunch of things like page layout, how it's laid out, field, compact layout, object limits. You have validation rules, but you'll notice we work within field and relationship a lot. So these are the fields that's available within the contact object. So if you go into contact, you're going to be able to see account name, assistant, assistant phone, birthday, clean status, all of this information, right? But because, and 31 items sorted by field label. But what do they want to do? They want to create a new field, right? And it's going to be a checkbox. A data type indicates what kind of information your field holds. So it doesn't always have to hold numbers or letters. It could hold just simply as a checkbox. It could be a pick list where you just choose one of the options. But this time they want a checkbox. So we're going to create a new checkbox. And field label is what you see on the contact page. Enter pre-qualified is what field label is. Right, so we're going to go ahead and copy that. And then we'll do next, and save. So basically, we're creating a new field called pre-qualified. Right, so here, again, we're under Object Manager. We'll just go to Object Manager. From initially, we're going to go into Setup again, all over again, right? And then go into Object Manager. And from Object Manager, we're going to find Contact. Within the Contact, we're going to Field and Relationship. And we're going to create a new field right here. Custom field. And anything you make within custom, you don't see it here, but it'll have _C like right here. That is a custom field. So we're going to go ahead and create new custom field. And they wanted a checkbox, different type, formula, auto number, all of this. But they wanted a simple checkbox to check whether they were pre-qualified or not. And then we're going and there are a bunch of other things you can do. From the pick list, text area. but simply this time checkbox is a field that we're creating. We're going to go ahead and click next. And field label is, what was it? Pre-qualified, right? And the field name, which is an API name, if we just click tab, it will just enter it. And there's no space that you can put on. You can only put on underscore. It has to be continuation. Okay. And you can put in description, help text. Help text will bring up information when you hover over. Like this is a help text, right? So description, we're not going to put it in since there are no instructions, but basically it's a reminder telling us, okay, is the borrower or purchaser or customer pre-qualified or not. Anyway, so we click next, and we'll talk about visibility later, but field label is just going to say enter pre-qualified, or actually, you know what? It's not enter pre-qualified. It's just asking if they were pre-qualified. So, my bad. We'll just put pre-qualified and yeah, we'll do next, and then we will save. And now you created your first custom field within an object, inside of an object. And again, like I said, object is a container. What does it contain? A bunch of fields, which makes up records. So if we look at it, we create a pre-qualified checkbox field, custom field. So you just customize your first object. Great job. Now we're going to take a look at it, see if it's there, right? So we're going to App Launcher. Remember App Launcher, I said that is where the front end is. So as a salesperson, I'm going to go look at it. And if I go to click here and I go to sales, and if I go to contact, what am I looking at? I am looking for it was a pre-qualified checklist, right? Did we? Give me one sec. All right. Select contacts. Use arrow to view all contacts and click a contact name. Okay. So that's what it was. Recently viewed, right? So we want to go ahead and do, because we didn't view any. This is brand new. So we're just going to see all contacts here. And if we look at all contacts here, we're going to just go into, let's say, Arthur song, whatever. And let's see what instructions say. Awesome. So use the down arrow to view all contacts and click on contact name. Under the details tab, you can find a new field. Now it's easier for Michelle and her other brokers to log and retrieve the information piece of client information. So if we go into Arthur, and if you look at related tab, details tab, news tab, we're going into details tab, and within here should exist our new field that we created. And it doesn't have to be like this. It could, again, we created checkbox. Right here is what we created, pre-qualified. And as a salesperson, I can kind of go in here, and did you see what I did? If I go back, let's say Avi Green, if I go to details tab, if they are now pre-qualified, we can print or click on that pencil or edit button and make them pre-qualified and save. And it would, now they would be pre-qualified. Okay, so we added the field pretty quickly, but it turns out that we did more than just add a field. At the same time, the platform did a lot of work under the hood. Obviously, the new field was added to the user interface. You can also run reports and create dashboards that reference your new field. The field is even ready to go in the Salesforce mobile app, and you didn't have to do anything except click next. And that's power of the Salesforce platform. So in the next unit, which will be next video. I'm planning on putting out about 3 or 4 or every 3 or 4 days on new video, because it does look like it's, this was supposed to be a 10-minute thing, but it's going into like 40 minutes. So in the next unit, we talk about some of the ways that you can harness the platform for your business. So here's the hands-on challenge that must be done. And it's saying add a custom field to contact object. Maybe home buyer work with the Dreamhouse Realty or pre-qualify for home loan. Brokers need to know how much money their client can borrow so you can show property in the right piece of range. Add the loan amount field. They want loan amount field to the contact object so the brokers can record and see the information. So now the thing about the challenges, it does have to match exactly what this thing says. So we're going to create a new custom field. So let's go ahead and go into, again, your org. And we're going to go into setup. We're going to go ahead and knock this out. So they wanted it done on contact object, right? So we are going to, here we're on Salesforce setup. We're going to object manager and we're going to find contact object. And what did they want to do? They wanted to add a new field, right? So in order for us to add new field, we have to go into field and relationship. Here you can see the button for new custom field, and we'll click on new, and let's see what type of data field. They want data as currency, and field label is going to be loan amount, and field name is loan underscore amount. So we're going to select a currency. See underneath checkbox there's currency. We're going to go ahead and click on next. And field label, we're going to go ahead and paste what we copied, loan amount, and simply by field name will fill by itself loan underscore amount, and that's all they wanted, right? So we are going to click next and save, and we should be done. Now we can go back to the instructions here. They wanted to create the field, custom field, which is contact object, and then field data type was currency, and field label was loan amount, and then field name was loan amount or underscore amount. So here we can check the challenge to earn 500 points. And it should come back okay. Any time that it does not, you can Google, like you can go to Google. Okay, 500 points. So we are going to end the session for the first one here, but anytime you can always go back and type this in and then like answer, and there are community and boards that provide answers or suggestions on how to get it done, because not every single one is correct. There are some workarounds within these exercises, so you may have to do some search. So looks like we're done with that. Next unit, that if I go back to, let's go back to initial. I can always go back like this way and that way, but that might confuse people. For now, we're just going to go back to trail mix, and this is one I'm in progress with. And where were we? If we scroll down, we're on admin beginner. You notice now I'm 3% done, and I have 500 points. No badges yet. Admin beginner. So let's see. We got Salesforce Platform Basics and get started with Salesforce Platform unit, right? So that's what that was for 500 points. And so next video I'll be tackling discover use cases for the platform. So I hope this help for anybody that's just getting started. I hope it really helps, and I hope you guys stick through it, and hopefully it could be a long-term thing for you. And good luck. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.